This story of Reckless is remarkable. When you learn about her, you'll see why the Marine Corps fell in love. She became a decorated heroine in the Korean War. She wasn't a horse. She was a Marine. She dazzled with her beauty and her quick intelligence. Admired for her duty and her level-headed sense, she made herself at home in camp, where mountains rose above, and bonded with the boys she met, who simply fell in love. She quickly acclimated to the wartime atmosphere and learned to steady rattled nerves when danger was severe. Petite, smart, and courageous, with her flaming hair of red, she shared their tents on winter nights when boys had gone to bed. The breakfast was her favorite meal, with coffee, bacon, toast. The Hershey bars were tasty too, but she loved eggs the most. She drank their beer and whiskey during off times, but of course, too much of that's not good for you when you're a combat horse. They said it was a conflict, that it wasn't really war. But front lines in Korea for the U.S. Marine Corps exposed that myth for what it was, a brutal, hellish lie. The label makes no difference. Bullets kill, and good men die. The rifle platoon of the 5th Marines was looking for a way to transport ammo, a back-breaking, banal chore. Each shell for their recoilless rifle weighed o'er 20 pounds. A horse would work out perfect, as it carried countless rounds. War's desperation called, and prudence answered with remorse. A family needed money, and Marines now had a horse. This small Mongolian filly would be working with the crew. One man was picked to train her well and foster trust that grew. They taught her to take cover while she worked near the front line. A tapping on her front leg was the signal and the sign to hit the deck and drop down when the shells and bullets flew. This training proved invaluable while she saw missions through. In battle, as the enemy shells hit and thoughts were blurred, she learned to find the bunker when the boys yelled out the word, "Incoming!" Her training was completed. There was no chore that she'd shirk. A graduation present was a pack saddle for work. Because her coat was red, her former owner called her Flame. The 5th Platoon decided to bestow another name. They called this filly Reckless for their anti-tank device, a big recoilless rifle that was accurate and precise. The shells it used were heavy, and it made a thunderous blast which gave up their location, and they had to move on fast. The ammunition would be carried to their firing place by Reckless with her saddle and some men she would outpace. The chance to prove her mettle came in March of '53 as part of the worst battle in Marine Corps history. The order came to retake Outpost Vegas once again. The savagery of battle tested each and every man. The trainer guided Reckless on the first few trips she made, then let her travel by herself, where she would have to wade through rice paddies and climb steep hills on mountain trails scarred well and blown apart by heavy bombs, just like a scene from hell. The battle raged for several days. But in one day alone, she managed 51 deliveries through the death trap zone. She suffered cuts from shrapnel on her left flank and her face. That didn't stop her from her mission or slow down her pace. In all, she covered 35 hard miles past the foe. She acted as a shield for trapped Marines in battle's throe. 9,000 pounds of ammunition traveled on her back, while heavy enemy fire rained down as she hauled her pack. With head low from exhaustion, there were times she'd take a break. The boys were good to her and gave her feed she'd gladly take. The bunker was there waiting after dark like a resort. Warm mash and rub-downs were a special treat when nights were short. This battle earned her great respect from all in the Marines. They honored her with medals and citations for her scenes of bravery and courage. A promotion came as well. She now was Sergeant Reckless, with a war story to tell. She managed to be brought back to the States after the war, retired with full military honors from the Corps. The stable at Camp Pendleton was where she spent her days. They gave her room and board free in lieu of retirement pay. In 1968, this friend and legend of the Corps was put down with regret because of injuries she bore. The bonds of trust and love were strong as this horse cast her spell. Her name was Sergeant Reckless, and she served your country well.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim